You ever feel like you're surrounded by people, but still feel alone? Like you're talking, laughing, showing up, but something inside you still feels distant, like no one really sees you. Not fully, not deeply, and the strange part is, you don't even know how to explain it. Because technically, you're not alone. You have people. You have conversations. You have connections. But somehow, it still feels empty. And that's confusing. Because loneliness isn't supposed to feel like this. We usually think of loneliness as being physically alone, sitting in a room with no one around. But this is different. This is emotional loneliness. And it's a lot harder to notice. Because from the outside, everything looks fine. You're social, you're functioning, you're involved. But inside, you feel disconnected. And that kind of feeling doesn't come from nowhere. It usually builds over time, in small, quiet ways. Maybe you got used to being the listener, the one who understands everyone else, the one people come to with their problems. So you learned how to be present for others, how to support them, how to make them feel seen. But somewhere along the way, you stopped sharing yourself. Not intentionally, just gradually, because it felt easier, safer, less complicated. And over time, that became your role, the one who listens, the one who supports, the one who understands, but not the one who is understood. And at first, that might not feel like a problem, because you're still connected to people, you're still part of conversations. But the connection is one-sided. You're there for them, but they don't really see you, not because they don't care, but because you don't show them. And that's where the disconnect begins. Because connection isn't just about being around people, it's about being seen, being understood, being known. And if you're not sharing that part of yourself, you can't receive that kind of connection. So even though you're surrounded by people, you still feel alone. And that feeling can be heavy, because it's not obvious. It's not something you can easily point to. It's just this quiet sense that something is missing. And the more you ignore it, the stronger it becomes. You start feeling less interested in conversations, less engaged, less present. Not because you don't care, but because it doesn't feel real. It feels surface level, like you're going through the motions, saying the right things, reacting the right way, but not actually connecting. And over time, that creates distance, not just from others, but from yourself. Because when you're constantly holding back, you stop expressing who you really are. And when you don't express it, you slowly lose touch with it. You stop knowing what you actually feel, what you actually want, what you actually need, because you're always focused on others. And that's where emotional loneliness deepens. Because now, it's not just about others not seeing you, it's about you not fully seeing yourself. And that can feel confusing, because you might start asking yourself, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel alone even when I'm not? And those questions don't always have simple answers. Because this kind of loneliness isn't about quantity, it's about quality, it's about depth. And depth requires vulnerability. It requires openness. It requires showing parts of yourself that you might not be used to showing. And that's the hard part. Because if you've been holding things in for a long time, opening up feels uncomfortable. It feels unfamiliar, even risky, because you don't know how people will respond. You don't know if they'll understand. You don't know if they'll see you differently. So instead, you stay the same. You keep things surface level. You keep your deeper thoughts to yourself. And the cycle continues. You feel disconnected, so you hold back. You hold back, so you stay disconnected. And breaking that cycle takes awareness. It starts with recognizing that the feeling you have isn't random. It's a signal that you need more real connection, not more people, not more conversations, but more honesty, more openness, more depth. And that doesn't mean you have to share everything with everyone. It just means allowing yourself to be real in the moments where it matters, saying what you actually feel, expressing what you actually think, even if it feels uncomfortable at first, because that's how real connection is built. Not through perfect conversations, but through honest ones. And yeah, not everyone will respond the way you hope. Not everyone will understand, but the right people will. And those are the connections that matter. The ones where you don't have to filter yourself. The ones where you can just be. And when you start experiencing that, even in small ways, something shifts. You feel less alone, not because your situation changed, but because your connection did. And that's powerful, because it shows you something important. You don't need more people. You need more real moments, more authenticity, more presence. And that starts with you, with allowing yourself to show up fully, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels unfamiliar, because that's where real connection lives. And if you've been feeling emotionally alone lately, if something inside you feels disconnected, don't ignore that. Don't dismiss it. That feeling matters. It's pointing you towards something deeper, something more real. And you don't have to fix everything at once. You don't have to suddenly become completely open. Just start small. Share a little more. Be a little more honest. Let yourself be seen, just a bit more than before. And over time, that builds, that grows, until one day you notice something different. You're not just surrounded by people anymore, you feel connected to them. And that changes everything, because at the end of the day, we don't just want to be around people, we want to feel understood. And if this hits something in you, if you've been feeling alone in a room full of people, just know you're not the only one. A lot of people feel this way. They just don't talk about it. So, if this resonated with you, drop A in the comments. And if you want more videos like this, the kind that actually help you understand yourself, make sure you subscribe. Because the more you understand what you're feeling, the easier it becomes to change it. And that's where real connection begins.